Hello. Not filmed in a while, but I was recently I've been on a Carrie Hope Fletcher binge. I've been rewatching like the Heathers era because I have recently just got into the soundtrack like very heavily, and I really want to see it. But anyway, I've been rewatching all the Heathers vlogs and stuff. But Carrie's just done a video. It makes me so happy to see her with like her whole entire shelves of books behind her. It's very amazing. Doing a tag called "Do I Have That Book?" or something like that. She said it really well, that there were questions and the answers were like one of the books. So it would be like, do you have a book, I don't know, with a number on the title, and I'd go, yes, I have 1984, or something like that. So I wanted to have a go. I don't have like a nice backdrop of bookshelves to use for this video. I have bookshelves in my sister's room, I have bookshelves on like just outside my bedroom, and I have books in various piles in my room, so I'm just going to show the book. I'm not going to show me searching. Cheers. So the first question is, do you have a book with deckled edges? Now I didn't know what this was until I watched Carrie's video, so I'm going to get a definition up. It's a feathery unfinished paper edge. Basically it's like a more handmade finish. But it's cool, and I do actually have a book with deckled edges, and that is Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, which has the deckled edges here, which basically give it like a really uneven finish, which I thought was cool when I got it anyway, and didn't know that's what it was called. But it's also a really cool book because it's got like these graphics on the inside, like almost dust covers despite it being paperback. I read this for my modernism module at university. The second question is, do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? This is actually my only book, I think, with more than one person on the cover, and it is The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, and it's got the movie characters on. I assume these are the people in the movie. I assume there's a movie. Now a major film. It is. These are the people on the film, on the cover of book. I don't really like books that have real people on the covers. I much prefer drawings and things, but I'm glad I had this one for this challenge. And the third question is, do you have a book based on another fictional story? And the answer is kind of yeah. First thing I noticed was Foe by J.M. Coetzee, which is based off Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. This was from my first year. I think it was like the general critical reading module that we had to do. I think I wrote my essay on it. And then I've also got quite a few others that are slightly based off. Oh no, I definitely have some more. So The House of Silk by Anthony Horowitz is based on Sherlock Holmes. It's got Sherlock Holmes in it as a character. I assume it's got Watson in it. Yes. So it's like an extra story, but it's obviously not by Conan Doyle. I also have A Jealous Ghost by A.N. Wilson, which is a retelling of Henry James's The Turn of the Screw. I really want to read this. I was meant to read this for General Monstrosity. I read Turn of the Screw and I wanted to talk about it in contrast with The Little Stranger. No, The Robber Bride. So I did that, and so therefore I didn't finish this because I knew that I wasn't going to write about it, which is not the way to do uni, especially a literature degree. But I know you don't have to bring loads out, but I just thought it was interesting. Not as like definitely rewrites, but they are based. So Dreamless is the sequel from Starcrossed, which is by Josephine Andolini, which I think is a great name. And it is Greek mythology, and I need to finish this series. I think the next one's called Goddess. I really need to reread these because it was really cool seeing Greek mythology like played out in like a modern way. Anyway, so these are based off Greek mythology. Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey is obviously kind of like it is itself a gothic tale, but it is in essence poking fun at and is sort of a satirical version of a gothic, so that is sort of based off gothic fiction. And Susan Cooper's King of Shadows is not based on a Shakespeare... Oh wait, maybe it is! No, I don't think it follows a story of one of the Shakespeare plays, but basically this boy gets sort of transported to Shakespearean England whilst he was rehearsing to be in a Shakespeare play at the Globe. So it's sort of more historical than based on fiction, but obviously we talk about Shakespeare a lot and it's very set in the plays and stuff, so that is potentially an answer to this question. This one was actually more difficult than I thought. This question is, do you have a book with a title 10 letters long? And I struggled for a while. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, On the Beach by Neville Shute, Coriolanus by Shakespeare, Paper Towns by John Green, and Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. Don't you love it when you find nice things in books that you've not looked up for ages? I obviously attempted to read this a very long time ago. Oh, hey, this also has 4 or more people on the cover. How exciting. I'm very happy with my finds for this one. This question is, do you have a book with a title that starts and ends in the same letter, with the same letter? And I found Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, E.E. Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I was very determined not to use the as the first word, and very determined to find a Kathy Cassidy book for somewhere in this challenge, and I found Driftwood, which is... This was like the first book that made me be like, ooh, bad things happen. I'm nailing this. I'm also definitely picking too many answers each time, but I just find it fun seeing what books I have. For this one, the question is, do you have a mass market paperback book? Now, I didn't know what this was. I'm not sure if I've even got correct answers here, but from my research, they are smaller books, usually lower in quality, and therefore like easier to mass produce, cheaper. UK A format books of 110mm by 178. You know I've got a ruler. Okay, that one is by 178. I have, for this category, decided to pick these ones that I have because they're really small. Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. I bought this on like acebooks.com or something. Hide by Lisa Gardner. It's very tiny. I mean, just for reference. And then, I don't know if this counts, but this little Penguin Classics, like the little book, Little Black Classics, I don't think this counts, but it's so tiny, is Anton Chekhov's A Nervous Breakdown. And then I have these 3 little plays that I got at uni, and I just think they're cute, and I've always kept them together despite the fact I don't think I even read The Rover. Did I read The Rover? It's unlikely given that my marker is on page 1. But I did read Oedipus, and I did read Dr. Faustus. And I also have Hemingway, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and that's a tiny edition. I'm sure my English A-level teacher gave me this. So that is kind of my answer for that question. Question number 7 is, do you have a book by an author using a pen name? And I do. I have this horrible copy of Silas Marner by George Eliot, whose name is, I want to say Mary Gray? Mary Evans. That's cool. Anyway, so this I had to read for my, I want to say GCSE. Yes, I had to write this in my GCSE Lit exam, GCSE. And then these are obviously technically now published with the correct names, but at the time, the Brontes used pseudonyms when they were first published because they were women. Good times. So Charlotte was Cura Bell and Emily was Ellis Bell. I just found a really sad fact, they all died of tuberculosis within like years of each other. The Brontes. This one's fun. Do you have a book with a character's name in the title? And I'm quite amazed by the sort of array of ones I could find. So we've got a YA, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Albertalli. I'm gonna say this wrong. Anna Karenina. I say Karenina. By Tolstoy. That is a chunky boy. This starts at chapter 5. That is not even the whole book. A chunk is missing. We've got a medieval anonymous. Like we don't know the author. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. 2 characters again. Florence and Giles by John Harding. This was for my Gender and Monstrosity, again, it's slightly based on Turn of the Screw, or like reminiscent of. And then Nancy Garden's Annie on My Mind, which I bought for writing my dissertation. And Annie is the main character. No, she's not. Annie is like the love interest. Do you have a book with 2 maps in it? I don't own The Hobbit. I really thought I was going to have to cheat on this one and use 2 books that had 1 map in them. But then, trusty Michael Morpurgo, who got me through school, who got me into reading, has 2 books that I have that have maps in. So, Alone on a Wide Wide Sea, which is possibly still one of the best books I've ever read, especially children's books, has Arthur's Journey in 1947, and has Ali's Journey in 2005. The Story of Adolphus Tips, also by Michael Morpurgo. I love that these all like look the same with the writing and everything. We have Slapton and Dartmouth, and then in the back we have Brittany and Southampton. Do I have a book that was turned into a TV show? Yes, I do. Be one sec. Big surprise, I went overboard on this one. So, books that have been turned into a TV show, I have many. I obviously couldn't do this video and not get Dracula in there. So, Dracula, they did a BBC version not too long ago. I haven't finished episode 3, but I need to. By Bram Stoker, my all-time favourite. Like, this boy is destroyed. Oh, I thought it was more destroyed than this. I used pencil, bless me, I have changed. Pride and Prejudice, obviously, I think the Colin Firth version was a TV show rather than a film. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood made into a TV show of the same name. This is kind of cheating, but Mallory Blackman's Noughts and Crosses got made into a TV show, which I still need to watch. I think it's on iPlayer. But Knife Edge is the sequel, which I obviously need to still read, but I need to reread Noughts and Crosses at this point. I don't remember it enough. But that is a TV show. Obviously, couldn't not say Sherlock. He is top tier TV shows. And not one that I'm going to rave about. Little Fires Everywhere became a TV show on Hulu. Do you have a book written by someone who was originally famous for something else? Yes, I do. I have Noel Fitzpatrick's Becoming the Super Vet, Listening to the Animals, which is a memoir about his life, which my uncle gave me for graduating. Or was it my 21st? Graduating. Or my 21st. Anyway, my aunt and uncle got me this. I still haven't read it. It's on my book list for this year. But Username Evie is a graphic novel that is written by Joe Suck. How did they phrase it? He created the storyline and the characters. So he wrote it. It's Mr. Tyler Oakley's Binge. I remember buying this. It was definitely £15. I just didn't want to wait for the paperback. And I never buy hardbacks, but here we go. So, from the days of Fangirl Ellen, Tyler Oakley's Bitch. Hello. So I'm doing part 2, not part 2, there isn't 2 parts. I did half of these last night, it's a new day, I look the same because why not? Next in the Do I Own That Book tag challenge, the next question is, do you have a book with a clock on the cover? And I am concerned, I don't think I do, but I'm going to go look and we'll find out. Annoyingly, A Clockwork Orange has a glass of milk on the cover and I was like, that was probably a good bet, but no. Okay, this one was actually super hard. I looked through literally every single book and Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee doesn't have a clock on it. I was so mad, but I've kind of done it. I haven't, but I have Kazuo, oh my gosh, Kazuo Ishiguro's The Remains of the Day, which I read at A-level for my coursework. and it has a sundial on it, which is kind of a clock. As well as this very lovely edition of Alice in Wonderland, and we have Mr. Rabbit checking his what are those things called? Pocket watch. Mr. Rabbit is checking his pocket watch. The next question is, do you have a poetry book? For my, I think this is A-level, we did the Poems of the Decade, an anthology of the forward books of poetry. With a massive 28 poems to study for a closed book exam, or not a closed book exam, obviously they give you the poem in the exam. We had to do 28 poems, and 2 of them would come up in an exam. These are from my university life. These are all, I think, from the same module. I had to do the Wasteland in modernism and I did not. But we did also do it for a module called Apocalypse Then and Now. We did T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, looking at the Wasteland. This is obviously a bigger collection, and I actually wrote an essay on that. We have Robert Minhinnick's Diary of the Last Man, which I don't think I read. It was like the last text to look at, and I'd already started planning my essay for The Wasteland and The Road, so I did not read it. And we have Lynette Roberts' collected poems. Then myself, I have acquired some. I started off, and I think I got this for my birthday. It's Milk and Honey by Rupika. I think they're very accessible, which is, I think, a good thing for poetry. I think some poems like to make you feel excluded, and that's not good. It should be accessible. On the same sort of thread of sort of Instagram poetry, I've got Amanda Lovelace's The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. These I definitely prefer to Rupika. They just feel like they're more thematic. They've got more of a, I don't know, they're just cool. And then I think I got this, I don't know when I bought this, but I've got Robert Frost's selected poems. I've never read this, but I've read some of them, you know. I'm currently reading Ted Hughes' birthday letters as well, and I obviously want to read some Plath poetry. And I also have this amazing little copy of Poems of Keats that belonged to my grandpa. So I have now got that. So the next question is, do you have a book with an awards stamp on it? I don't know if that's like a particularly American thing, that there are specific stamps or so. We kind of just put it on the book cover. So I have a few Costa winners. So this is Blood Red Road by Moira Young, and it's the Costa Book Awards winner 2011. Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer won in 2013, and Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine won in 2017. Kazuo Ishiguro's The Remains of the Day won the Booker Prize. 2019, Bernardine Evaristo's Girl, Woman, Other won the Booker Prize along with Margaret Atwood's The Testaments, but I'm just going to show this one because she should have won it. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? Probably not. E.H. Okay. I was actually struggling with this one really a lot, but I found one! Ernest Hemingway. Ellen Hill. I do have some short story collections. So I have, starting with Gothic, M.R. James's Count Magnus and Other Ghost Stories, and I have Late Victorian Gothic Tales. I also have The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, which contains the short stories that were published in The Strand. And lastly, I have Carol Shields' collected stories. I think I do actually have more short story collections, but these are some. Annoyingly, despite all my searching, I do not own a book between 500 and 510 pages. And I'm really annoyed! Do you have a book that was turned into a movie? Oh my goodness, yes, I have millions. Kazuo Ishiguro was turned into a movie. Sorry, The Remains of the Day. Anna Karenina. Dracula. Pride and Prej. Coriolanus. Jane Eyre. Wuthering Heights. Do you have a graphic novel? I think I have one graphic novel and one manga. I was correct. I was half correct actually. So I do own username. I don't own, well, My friend gave me this, I need to read it and give it back, but I have username Evie by Joe Sugg. I also have a fusion graphic novel and prose novel, so it's got like each chapter alternates, which is cool. My sister got me this and got it signed by the author. And I also have a manga that I've not read called Blackbird, which is graphic. And the last question is, do I have a book written by 2 or more authors? I do! So the first is The Diary of a Nobody by George and Whedon Grossmith, 2 brothers who wrote this together. I think this was on my Decadent Men module at university. And this one, which I've just thrown across the room, is Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson and Lauren Miracle. Miracle? Her name is Miracle? There are 3 different stories, but they all form one. They all come together at the end, I'm very sure. I think I really enjoyed this. I miss the John Green era of life. That was a good time. I still obviously watch Vlogbrothers, but when he was at his crowning jewellery, when he was at his crowning point of life with the Fault in Our Stars, life was good then, you know? So that actually concludes this challenge. I've done 20 questions, I've done far too many books, and they're all sat around me in various piles and things, and I just have made a total mess of my shelves, which is good because I can rearrange and I can resort, which is great. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm enjoying doing slightly more bookish content for this channel, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Those people who do watch, if you have seen the end of this video, comment Let It Snow, because it's April and why not. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.